Happy Valentine's Day to the only thing I love in this world. Tech news. Don't tell my wife and kids. AMD knows there's still a chip shortage, but they might go ahead and give us the much anticipated Ryzen 7000 lineup earlier than expected anyway, because love conquers all. Processors based on Zen 4 weren't supposed to be here until the fourth quarter of this year, but a new rumor from a well-known hardware leaker indicates we'll actually be seeing them arrive in the third quarter, possibly as early as July. How's that for a summer of fun?
I'm taking it down the water slide.
Grease me up, baby. Woo! So sun hat, some Zen. Okay. AMD might be going for an earlier launch to regain a competitive edge against Intel, whose Raptor Lake chips are expected to launch at the end of the year. AMD's market share is rawr. Clever girl. AMD's market share is the highest it's been in 15 years, and Team Red definitely doesn't want to lose that and have to rename their mainstream CPUs to Fallen. Over in Team Green's camp, that's NVIDIA for you colorblind folks, a significant change is reportedly being made to its mid-range lineup as the supply crunch eases up a bit and graphics cards prices continue to fall. I know, I don't even believe myself when I say it. Just, we're waiting for the fourth wave.
Are you enhanced?
According to a report, NVIDIA is going to be replacing the GA106 GPUs inside of its RTX 3050 graphics cards with a GA107, which is also used in the laptop version of the RTX 3050. But these GA107 chips will actually have the same number of CUDA cores enabled as the cut-down desktop GA106. So the result should be the same level of performance with better power efficiency.
I don't know what you said, but it sounds great.
You know the 6500 XT? Not that. Oh. Like that in the good ways.
The other one.
But not like it in the bad ways.
Blue graphics card.
The idea is this could lead to better availability overall, as NVIDIA can now just use the full-fat GA106 in its RTX 3060s instead of splitting them between two different cards. Have you ever ripped a card in half with your bare hands? Why did you write that? And the UK's Revenue and Customs Department has seized 3 NFTs related to a fraud case involving nearly $2 million US, marking the first such seizure of the digital tokens. But I thought the whole idea was that they couldn't be seized due to their special, slimy, protective blockchain coding. The case itself involved a rather complicated scheme, including 250 shell companies, and data being moved through VPNs, which I hear they hate at the Olympics.
That stuff is slippery too.
The British government is currently stopping the alleged perpetrators from selling the NFTs, and around $6,700 of other crypto assets were also seized. This is all happening. It's a fluid environment. Apparently, the perps were using the NFTs to hide large sums of money from the tax authorities, presumably by hiding it in the ape's mouth.
I don't know how it works. Could it go in there?
If the ape is sufficiently bored. Now it's time for the Quick Bits, brought to you by the MSI Vigor GK50 Elite Box White Mechanical Gaming Keyboard. That whole thing is the product name. Crazy. It's a full-size wired gaming keyboard complete with a number pad, so you can type your little phone numbers in there if you haven't saved them. And it features Kale Box white switches. And this is true, I really like those switches, one of my favorites. They've got an audible and tactile click and an advertised lifespan of up to 80 million keystrokes. And you don't even have to worry about spilling your box of wet sawdust on those key switches, because you know what? They have dust and moisture protection thanks to the box around the stem. Does it have per key RGB? Are you kidding me? Does a bear poop in the woods? Yes to both. So check out the MSI Vigor GK50 Elite Box White Keyboard in the links below.
Thankfully, finally somewhere to spill my wet dust.
I got all this soaking wet sawdust. It's gotta go somewhere. The only way to banish the Quick Bits is to read them. Otherwise, they fester.
Watch out.
After making a big stink about Apple not supporting RCS and iMessage and perpetuating toxic anti-green bubble stigma, Google has apparently sweet-talked Samsung into making Google Messages the default texting app in Samsung's Galaxy S22 lineup. Oh my God, who cares about the Samsung app anyway? Yep. But Samsung Messages already had RCS, so we're not sure whether we should be cheering for Google here or criticizing them for doing more monopoly things. Why not both?
They exist in the liminal space.
I hate defaults. That or worse. Wait, but that means I like iMessage. Ah!
Oh.
The Netherlands has levied a fine against Apple for the 4th week in a row, this time to the tune of over $5 million, which Apple won't care about, for failing to appease Dutch authorities with its proposals for payments in dating apps.
But it's up to 20 million cumulatively now.
Wow. Apple has said it will allow the use of third-party payments in dating apps, but with only a 3% discount off its default 30%. So that's 27 if I did the math properly.
I don't know.
If you're in the market for a fancy new QD-OLED display, you might be in for a bit of a wait. Although Samsung was due to release them sometime this year under their actual Samsung brand, there's now a business dispute within Samsung. Apparently, the business side, like Samsung Consumer Electronics, has to pay the manufacturing side, Samsung Display, for the panels, and they can't even agree on the price.
Sibling rivalry.
So I guess Sony's QD-OLEDs are gonna be the only ones for a bit.
Are they?
They were supposed to be first.
I don't know.
The news follows an earlier report about possible delays from manufacturing issues, so you might be stuck with your boring old regular OLED TV for a while.
Oh.
Hang on in there, guys.
Might as well be garbage.
Google Plus has seemingly died a second death. I put an S on there because it's 2 deaths. Odds are you've already forgotten about Google's ill-fated social network, but it actually lived on as something called Google Currents, which I've never heard of, but was available in G Suite. Some of its features are being folded into Google Spaces, which also apparently exists and is not a Twitter feature that knocked off Clubhouse.
I don't even know
What the hell is that?
There's all these Google features stuck under the couch pillows.
The quick bits do not permit me enough time to think about this anymore. And one man should probably be eligible for a frequent flyer card to space. American billionaire Jared Isaacman. One Isaacman has booked 3 more flights with SpaceX after flying into Earth orbit last year. One of these flights is apparently going the farthest into space humans have been since the moon landings. Well, Jared, on behalf of the non-billionaires who haven't even gotten around to booking their first space flight, we hope you have fun. Hope you get a window seat. And that's it. See you on Wednesday.